Hello internet friends. In this video I am starting to build the fuel tanks. Finally. I know it's been a couple weeks since I posted a video. I've been traveling for work and also buying parts. So, it takes a while to order the parts and let's see, probably 2 weeks. I guess I could go look and see when I ordered. The parts I needed was the fuel caps. So I actually deleted the fuel caps from my order whenever I ordered my wings, probably 2 or 3 years ago. And then it turns out you actually need the fuel caps to build the wings. To build the wings, to build the tanks, because it would be very hard to put in the fuel caps after you seal everything together, which is another way of saying you couldn't do it. So you need to seal the fuel cap on before you seal the tank. That should be obvious, but I didn't want to get into that situation. Anyway, the reason why I deleted the fuel caps is because I wanted locking fuel caps. Which vans, the fuel caps that ship from vans, they're not locking, and it actually looks like they've gone through a couple of iterations. Now they use, I think it's called Newton, is the company that makes the fuel caps. But it looks like they started out as plastic on the RV-14s, and now they have nice aluminum fuel caps. Anyway, from Aircraft Spruce, you can buy a locking version. I guess I'll tell the story of why I want a locking version. So, I don't think I've told this story before, but when I had a Mooney and I would fly to meetings, one of my customers was at the Air Force Base, and I wouldn't. I was there at the Air Force Base, and the customer was right on the runway, and I was like, oh, kind of half joking, like, wouldn't, I could help you guys a lot better if I could just fly my plane here, because your door goes right outside to the runway, and, it takes me, if I drive here, it takes 4 hours to get here, and if I fly my plane, I have to, like, fly to a city an hour away from the base, rent a car, drive an hour to base. Like, it just takes so much time, and I could help you a lot better if I could just, it's only an hour if I leave my hangar and land right here. And I was kind of just joking, and my customer was like, oh, well, let's go talk to airfield management. And so we went next door, talked to airfield management. They were like, oh, yeah. It turned out that the airfield manager and I used the same mechanic, and we knew the same people. And he was like, oh, yeah, so I fly my Cherokee in sometimes to work, too. And he was like, here, sign these 3 forms. You can get a landing permit. And so I did that, and then, I flew there a few times. But one of the times, they called me, and they're like, hey, there's a problem with your airplane. And turns out that, like, they had mistaken it for another airplane, and I don't know how, because it's a Mooney and not a C-12, but there was a situation where they grabbed somebody from the back, and some Marines were like, hey, go fuel our plane, and he went out to the plane that was on the list of approved planes to be there that day, and there was my plane and not their plane. And he came back in and said, hey guys, that plane says it takes 100 liquid. And they were like, you're an idiot. Our plane takes jet fuel. And so he went back out, fueled what he thought was their plane with Jet A, probably JP8, whatever he put in it. And then he saw them walking out to their C-12 and realized he made a mistake. And so I ended up with 4 tanks full of jet fuel. And that was a not fun problem to deal with. So I never want to have that problem again. So my solution is locking gas caps, and I think they were $100 each from Spruce, but they will fit on the. In fact, I will link to them in the description. I am happy to pay for those gas caps if it means I never have to deal with that problem again. Okay, so anyway, that's why it took me a couple weeks to get those parts, and I've been traveling, so I wasn't home to start building these tanks, and then I had to find the parts that I need in the plans. When I was reading them, I'm like, okay, I need all these tank Zs to attach the tanks, and it took me a minute to realize they come as one giant piece that you have to cut apart. So anyway, that's what I've been doing in this video, is cutting apart these tank Zs and then deburring them. Let's see, what else? Other news. So I got my engine finally a couple weeks ago, last week, before I had to go to Hawaii for work, which sounds cool to people who are like, oh, Hawaii, but for me, it's just another place that's 6 hours away that I have to burn a whole day to get there, and then have whatever meetings, and then burn a whole day to get back on an airplane, and that's the not glamorous part of it. In fact, there is no glamour in going to a meeting on Hawaii. There's glamour on going on vacation to Hawaii, but going to work is just, no one likes going to work. So anyway, back home, working, got the engine. So now I'm hugely motivated to finish the wings and get the fuselage done. And I also signed up for an avionics class, so looking forward to that. Okay, so if you would like to talk about avionics or fuel tanks or anything RVs, scan the QR codes that have appeared, and they will drop you in the chat groups. And I'll see you there, and see you in the next video.